I'm sure by now we've all heard people say things like, choose your hard, or that you should be chasing discomfort, and that like you have to put yourself through pain if you want success. Now, being someone who used to take things like that literally, especially back when I was in high school, I would take all these like physical challenges way too far, thinking like doing this was making me a better athlete and like a stronger person. And while yes, of course, did give me a rock solid mindset, I think that now that I have some experience with doing some of these things the wrong way, it's important for me to impart this wisdom onto you guys.
Right. Wrong.
Because I want to help you guys realize that there is a big difference between healthy forms of discomfort versus unhealthy forms. Because discomfort can lead to growth, and this would be like eustress. But on the other hand, if you use it the wrong way, it becomes distress, which is something that like we don't want. So this is going to be holistic health as well as relationship and mindset advice all tied into one video, because I'm going to be discussing this in terms of examples from pushing yourself the right amount physically and your physical health.
It's time for the arm cruncher.
This squirrel's trying to kill me.
As well as being able to decipher between healthy alone time versus pure isolation. And I'm also going to be talking about fasting and cold therapy, as well as constructive criticism versus constant judgment, and shaming with unwanted advice, etc., etc. So without further ado, let's dive deeper now.
Give me a...
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the Jared and James channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys didn't know that, must be not subscribe to the channel so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts in the video. Follow me on every platform, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through It by Jared Weiss. All links purchased on my website, which is jaredryanweiss.com. That's JaredRyanWeiss.com. Buy the book, support me, and make sure to check out all the awesome shirts I have on there as well. Every shirt is made of 100% organic cotton. Every shirt is like its own motivational saying, so it's worth it. So any support at all, as I'm always saying, is very much appreciated. So let's dive deeper in now. So the first place I want to start is when it comes to sleep and rest and proper recovery versus pushing yourself in the gym. So when I was younger in high school, after hearing all these stories about Kobe Bryant waking up at 4 a.m. every day and going through 6-hour workouts every day,
Are you a different animal and the same beast?
I felt like this is what I had to do in order to become the best athlete and separate myself from the pack. So all throughout high school and even into college, as you guys can read about in my book, Fight Through It, I would wake up at the crack of dawn, or even sometimes like before then, and go to the gym to either put up shots in basketball or to go to the weight room. Then I would walk around the rest of the day like a zombie, or I would need several naps, or I would like barely be able to keep my eyes open in my classes, which on top of that work I was putting in, I was also up doing homework all night as well, trying to be the best student I could be too.
You've had an hour and 20 minutes sleep in 3 days.
So no sleep, but putting my body through the ringer, which I'm not going to say was totally my fault, because unfortunately the school system promotes this and encourages this as well. But anyways, this is a prime example of distress. And as crazy as it sounded to me at that time, this was precluding me from making the progress on these things to the effect I wanted to. I thought that because I was training like Kobe, in spite of being in school and in spite of having all these other stressors in my life, and not having the proper massages and rest time and recovery time, I thought this meant like I was going to get those results. And of course I'm not going to say like I didn't get any results, because pushing yourself does have its place, and like I did of course achieve a lot by doing this, but pushing yourself through pain and ignoring your body will lead to illness and injury. So how can you progress if you're always injured or sick? What's the proper balance here? It means getting the right amount of sleep. For most people, this is going to be between 7 and 9 hours every night. I mean, LeBron James sleeps 10 plus hours every day and takes a long nap, and he's still one of the best players in the NBA at 40 plus years old. So take it from him, and also take it from my own personal experience, because pushing myself in the gym, but not going beyond what my body can handle, and getting enough sleep, has allowed me to make so much more progress on my jump goals, my physique goals, and all my weight room numbers, compared to the progress I was making before I did this. So people telling you you could sleep when you die, or that chasing pain is a good thing, be very wary of these people, and definitely do not take their advice literally. Now the next example of healthy discomfort versus unhealthy, and distress versus eustress, is when it comes to our personal life. So I'm talking about healthy alone time, and understanding the importance of being happy alone, but also not pushing away happy and healthy relationships when it comes to having good potential partners, or even having healthy friendships too, of course. Now this area requires a ton of nuance. So first off, I am a very hyper-independent person. I've made myself this way and also have probably learned this behavior through personal experience and being let down by so many people in my life.
I know from experience, dude.
And this is a great skill to have. I think, in my opinion, we should all set aside alone time. And of course the amount is going to differ for each person. But when you're able to be happy alone, this means that you never have to settle for anyone who treats you less than your best. And there are times in life where you're going to have to be that lone wolf when that is the best option. However, where this can become problematic is when that independence turns into isolation. Because there are good people out there. Yes, they might be few and far between.
I will never understand people.
They're the worst.
But they are out there, so you don't want to close yourself off to a potentially great friendship or great relationship because you've convinced yourself that you don't need anyone. It's like, as one of my favorite proverbs goes, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And there's a time and place for both once again. And as the chapter I talk about in my book goes, which comes from the movie Into the Wild, happiness is only real when shared. So I am able to be very happy when I am alone, but when I'm around the right people, this experience gets enhanced. And once again, neither way is wrong, it's just like a matter of knowing when each situation has its place. And there was a time in my life where I felt like I was destined to be a loner until I found the right people who were meant to be part of my inner circle. I don't settle for anyone who treats me less than my best, but I also try not to let my love for being independent stop me from having these great friendships and being open if and when the right relationship comes along too. So a lot of nuance there, but I hope that helps and I hope that all that made sense. Next up, a more trendy topic of conversation that I want to address the importance of healthy discomfort versus pushing too far is when it comes to fasting and doing so the right way versus starving yourself. So as with any other trends out there, there's usually some truth to them, but then of course you have the people who take things way too far. Same thing when it comes to cold therapy. So like now because of Wim Hof, who's done all these incredible things and who's achieved some really cool feats, you have people out there who are convincing themselves that they feel great when they dive headfirst into a pile of ice and then come up with frostbite essentially.
I can't get my core temperature back up.
This son of a bitch is ice cold.
Cold is a stressor just as fasting is, and when used properly there can be some benefits. Now I'm more inclined to talk about the benefits of intermittent fasting because I do actually think there's a ton of incredible truth and benefits to it. So getting back to fasting, I think based on all my research into Weston A. Price and into all these ancestral-based eating habits, it is natural for humans to give their digestive systems a break, as doing so promotes autophagy or cell regeneration, depending on how long you go for. But this has great mental benefits, it helps you think clearer, it helps your digestion, and it also allows your body to work in healing other areas, because humans were not meant to be constantly digesting food 24/7. Now having said that, some people I believe take this too far, and don't listen to their body's hunger signals on the other end of the spectrum.
Boy, you are really hungry.
Eating and fueling your body with healthy organic foods is just as important as fasting, so you don't want to get too carried away where you start depleting your body's nutrients and it starts eating itself essentially, and you end up all skin and bones but you convince yourself that you're healthy. Now of course all of us have our own goals, and these should be accounted for. Someone who has cancer or is healing from a life-threatening illness should have different eating patterns from a bodybuilder or a high school kid or a high-level athlete. I even heard somewhere recently that for women in particular, fasting for them can be dangerous, especially when they're on their periods. Now of course I'd have to look more into the specifics of this, but anyways, this underscores the importance of intuitive eating and listening to your own individual body versus just following what the people on social media are saying, or even what the quote-unquote experts are saying. In other words, don't ignore your body just because this person online fasted for 5 months and feels great and because it worked for them. We are all different, so pushing through a bit of hunger can be healthy and can be great, but when you're about to pass out, I think maybe you went too far. But that's for you to judge. The next example of distress versus eustress could be something like a big change in your life, so maybe this could be getting a new job, or moving from where you currently live. So if you're doing this, it's important to ask yourself some questions. Am I trying to escape my current challenges, or am I embarking on something that fits me better than what I'm doing right now? Because there are plenty of people out there who I see jumping from career to career or moving from one place to the next, not because they know themselves well and doing this is actually a better fit for them, but a lot of people out there try to escape their current situation and current feelings and current problems and don't want to deal with them, so they'll move away or try something new and tell themselves, oh, this is me healing.
What are you doing?
Running off my desires.
I'll just move to another state or country. But so often this isn't the answer, and they're actually avoiding dealing with the problems that they have to and that they should be. So if something is bothering you, it's always best to deal with it head on, as uncomfortable as it might be. And also, know yourself. Take some time to get alone, listen to your thoughts, and trust your own intuition.
I can be all alone.
This way you can know when making that leap, whether it's getting the new job or moving somewhere else, is actually what's best for you, versus is it uncomfortable because you didn't address what the problem is, so you're escaping so that you're not going to have to deal with it. But of course you will. Now the final example of the contrast between healthy stress and discomfort versus unhealthy and distress is when it comes to constructive feedback versus harsh and unnecessary criticism, and this goes for with ourselves and like our own self-talk, or with others as well. So this could be receiving honest, specific feedback that might be a bit uncomfortable because of course none of us like being told like we did something wrong, but on the positive end this could lead to accountability and making improvements that are going to benefit you long term. But contrast this with being constantly criticized without guidance or support, which is going to lead to more self-doubt. And another piece to this is that not everything needs criticism. And this is where like, it can become toxic. It's like just because you're that friend who's supposed to tell everyone, quote unquote, the truth, this doesn't mean that your opinion is wanted or needed in every situation. I saw a quote recently that said, people don't always need advice. Sometimes all they really need is a hand to hold, an ear to listen, and a heart to understand them. A lot of people out there, though, don't understand this concept. It's like right after someone has a rough breakup or gets their heart broken, that's not the time to be like, I told you so. I told you she wasn't right for you, but like you didn't want to listen. No, that's the time to let them vent and to be there for them. Or if someone just got fired from a job, you don't then say to them, this is what you did wrong, this is why you can never keep a job, you suck.
You do everything wrong. I have no confidence in you.
That's actually the time when you remind them of their strengths and tell them that like things will get better. You put your arm around them and you give them a listening ear. Maybe after some time passes, then you can give some advice if it's wanted, or if you think it can be helpful to them. So constructive criticism in the right situations can be awesome, and very helpful of course. And we can do this ourselves too. When something doesn't go right, we can look in the mirror and say, what could I have done better? Could my better actions have changed the outcome? Or if someone else says like, you did X, Y, and Z really well and like applauds those things, but here's some areas to work on if you want to be even better, that can be awesome even if sometimes we don't want to hear it. But the key is we don't want this to become shaming ourselves or others and being like, I suck, I messed up, or you suck, and like just becomes a sole focus on the negative. Because that's not helping anyone either. Criticism doesn't have to be bad as long as it's like specific and gives things to work on, but it can become toxic if it's not the right place, or if it becomes only destructive and tears the other person down. That's not helping anyone.
That's not going to be good for anybody.
Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, I hope you guys enjoyed the message, and like I hope this video helps you to distinguish the difference between positive stress or eustress versus distress, whether in your personal life and relationships, or at the gym with physically pushing yourself, and when it comes to criticism being destructive or constructive. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, be sure to drop a like, leave a comment. I will catch you guys next time. Stay positive, stay hustling, stay grinding. Catch you next time. Peace.